Hello everybody, if you are really concerned about the SQL Server license cost and you are running your SQL Server deployment as high availability based on the EC2, the good news is AWS has recently launched an option by which you can save up to 40% of SQL Server license cost from your secondary EC2 node. For that matter, you need to set up your SQL Server in such a way so that you can save or your customer can save up to 40% of SQL Server license cost. In these sessions, I'll show you step-by-step guide how you can configure the SQL Server on the self-managed EC2 so that you can save a 40% of total SQL Server license cost. Check this.
All right, so today we are going to discuss how you can or your customer can reduce Microsoft SQL Server license cost for their secondary instance with the SQL Server high availability mode. AWS recently introduced on 17th November 2025. If you and your customer can go for the self-managed deployment on EC2, going by these options, you and your customer can save up to 40% of cost using these new Amazon EC2 high availability for SQL Server. I'll show you how to configure each and every steps, and also I'll try to simplify the configurations. Before we'll get into the AWS Management Console and all of the setup process, I will take first few minutes to explain what is all about from the architecture perspective, and also we'll discuss the basic architecture that you have to deploy and follow, and then you can set up these options using the launch wizards. That's something also we'll discuss, and how the SSM document will help to detect which node is secondary, and then AWS will waive off the license, SQL Server license from your secondary node. That is something today's topic. Okay, I am here in my draw.io, and you see the first level of architecture, which is very simple. I have created two public subnet and two private subnets in different availability zones inside a VPC. You may choose any region for that matter. You can go for the North Virginia or Mumbai, and you need to have also the NAT gateway so that your private subnet traffic can route through the NAT gateway. You may go for two NAT gateways or one NAT gateway, maybe the regional NAT gateway, which is also recently introduced by AWS. And from the basic architecture standpoint, you should have the internet gateway so that your public subnet can route their traffic to the internet. In the private subnet, we have to launch, or we are going to launch this SQL Server primary and secondary. When this basic architecture setup is done, then we'll go for the launch wizards from where we'll deploy the SQL Server. I'll show you the steps, and also the IAM roles, which is pretty important for this entire configurations. And once the configuration steps are done, then this SSM document will continuously check which one is your secondary SQL Server, and then AWS will waive off the SQL Server license from your EC2 secondary node. So let's get started. Let me go to the launch wizards. Here you go. Click on that. From these options, from here you can go view workloads, or simply select on the deployments options, launch new deployment. Choose your deployment. We are going for MSSQL Server. Let's select that. Deployment pattern. So there are a couple of ways that you launch your SQL Server. SQL Server Always On, or maybe SQL Server FCI FSX on tap, or SQL Server FCI FSX Windows. So this new announcement will be applicable almost for all of these varieties, okay, deployment options, except the Ubuntu. So what I'm going to do, let me go for SQL Server FCI FSX on tap. So from the storage standpoint, you could save additional money, and then go and launch deployment wizard. So this is the role, IAM role, which is default. Then go and click next. Deployment name, let's say SQL HA for an example. You may enable CloudWatch application insights monitoring for having more insights from the monitoring perspective, then rollback, etc. So I'm not going to enable anything, but you can. For the productions, it is recommended to enable. You can also choose SNS topic. Let's say if deployment fails or deployment succeeded, you should get some of the notifications. Connectivity, yes, connectivity. Under connectivity, the first thing key pair, which is important, right? So you need to choose some key pair. You can choose from this option, else you can, sorry, from this option, or else you can create from this option called create new key pair. So it will open another tab, okay, and then you have to select, just do a refresh and then it will come up, okay. So I've already created, that's why it is coming up for me. Under tenancy model, let's go for shared and use existing virtual private cloud VPC. Yes, as I said that your basic infrastructure to be there from the network perspective, like public subnet, private subnet, NAT gateway. So without that, you cannot launch this SQL Server, through these launch wizard options. So I can go for this option for any of this. Okay, let's say ECS workshop, but I think I have created these migrations for this VPC. Let me go and choose my one of the public subnets. So where I have launched my NAT gateway, and I can go for the subnets, which is private subnets from the different um, ability zones, right? So at least you need to have two private subnets. So I confirm like all of my public internet to be routed through my NAT internet gateway. So this is something, and also my private, routing private subnet will go through my, NAT gateway. So that is the outbound connectivity confirmations that we need. We need to mention here. Remote desktop gateway preferences. No, I don't need to do right now. I'll set up later in case needed. Connect to existing Active Directory or create a new Active Directory. So this is mandatory here because I should choose, or you should choose rather, the existing or create new. So I'm going to create a new Active Directory. Okay, let me give it a name. Let's say whatever. Um, okay, and domain name for me it's test.local. You can go for your real domain DNS name. OU, it is optional, and then you need to have a SQL Server service account. For that, you need to also define a password. Here are a couple of options like installs. Okay, must be equal. Okay, I think I missed something here. Let me retype. Okay, let me see. So you can go for license included AMI or use custom AMI. So custom AMI means you can bring your own license and create AMI out of that. But I can go for the license included AMI options, and here all of the different varieties of the SQL Server. It comes with enterprise, it comes with standard. So I can go for, let's say, SQL Server 2022 standard editions. Okay. These are all additional configurations um, you may do. It would be good like if you um, define primary and secondary for your understanding, which one is primary, which one is secondary, and then go and click next. I think still I am missing some password issue. I don't know why. Yep, this time it's okay. And then click next. Oh no. Okay, it is my bad. It cannot be equal to domain administrator password. Okay, let me go for different one. Okay, here you go, and then click next. So from these options, we should select the virtual CPUs, how many virtual CPUs and memory you need for that. You can increase from these options. Okay, so based on this virtual CPU and RAM, so AWS recommends 6CA.X large, and also the IOPS and the storage capacity. I don't think we need that much of storage at this stage, so it would further reduce the cost. And then um, you can go whatever it is. You may change this LAN use storage, etc., and then click next, and your um, the next screen, you will see the review and deploy options. Okay, I think it is minimum 1024. That's correct. I think I need to have 1 TB as minimum, and then you just simply go and deploy. Since I've already deployed that, I will straight take you to the deployment options, how exactly deploy look like. It will take a significant times. For me, it took almost 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Sometime it will take more than 1 hour. In interest of time, I can pause this recording and I'll show you once this deployment is done. Okay. So once your deployment is done, it will look something like this. Okay. So it created your AD stack, then SQL Server FCI stack. Okay. To confirm that, you can go first FSX because I chose the FSX on tab, which is a shared storage, right? Which will attach to both of the nodes. Yes, it is there. And now if I go to the EC2 console, because ultimately this is the self-managed EC2, and go to the instances, click on the instances. Okay, so this is my primary and this is my secondary. This is for the different purpose. So this primary and secondary, it is there. Now, if I choose this primary and go to the SQL high availability option, you see that here you can see this is fully license included. That means full license included. And if I go for the secondary, go to the high availability options, you will be able to see the AWS has already waived off the license from this. So once your deployment is done, just select these two nodes, your primary and secondary. Okay. And then go to actions, and under instance settings, go to modify SQL high availability settings. Okay. Make sure your instances are there and your SSM agent status are online. Otherwise, it would not work. And then go and click next. And then you have to enable these options. Okay. And choose these enable options. I've already done that. Don't select none. And SQL Server credentials, let it be as none. Okay, those are optional. Don't change anything here. So again, I repeat, the first you have to enable all instances, enable this SQL Server high availability license savings enabled. Otherwise, it will not apply. Your SSM document will not understand. And then click next, and then apply changes. So once done, after 3 to 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, you simply go and check the secondary. Just click on the secondary and go to SQL high availability options. And then you'll be able to see your SQL Server license cost is waived off from your secondary instances. As I said, IAM plays a significant roles here from the permission perspective. So by default, if you go to primary and go to the modify IAM roles, you see this role has been created by launch users automatically, both for the primary and secondary. Okay, but at the back end, the two roles are needed, which is already there. Yes, these two policies I was talking about, which is AWS EC2 SQL HA instance policy, and another one is SSM managed instance core. These two policies are not there, then your SSM cannot understand or recognize which one is your primary and secondary, because at the back end there is a script which will continuously check your primary and secondary, and based on that it understands which one is secondary and the license can be waived off. That's all for now. I hope this session was helpful to you, and I'll see you in my next session.